All right, so another pretty cool thing you can do now in the new latest version of the Investment Dominator is under the Customize screen. If you go under Custom Stages and Statuses, what is new about the Add Status section is that you can add what are called status options to them. So the status options, let me just go over to the help article and I'll link it in this video. But this help article explains that we have different options built into the record status. Those options include the generate documents option, the new offer request option, the set property location option. You've got the market research options, which include, running comps on realtor.com, trulier.com, landwatch.com, zillow.com, and redfin.com. View on map, generate listing, generate ad, and payment calculator. So all of these are built-in options. And when it comes to our default setup, we have already a list of statuses that define the deal flow that a property goes through, as a land deal in this case that we're looking at here would go through. And attached to these statuses, we have the different options. So for example, if a property record is in the prospect status, then you're going to have the option to generate documents, because at this stage, you really want to send the person a letter. Then when you move them from prospect to mailed letter one, meaning you've already sent out the letter, you get the option to either generate some more documents. For example, if you need to regenerate a letter for some reason, you'll have this option. And you also have the new offer request option. This is for when they call in, you can process the call. Under the pending preliminary research status, you start to move it into your research, to doing your research. So you have a lot more options. You can set the property location. You can view it on a map once you set the property location. Then you've got your market research tabs that will help you determine the market value of the property. And you've also got the offer option calculator to determine what you're going to offer the owner. And then you've got also the generate documents option that's going to allow you to generate the offer and option agreements and things like that. So as you see, as you go through the different statuses, we've got options already attached to our built-in statuses. Now, what's really cool about this new update is under the customize section, you can create your own status and assign options to that. So let me just show you what I mean. Let's say that we're going to create a new status under the prospect stage, and it's for the land, and we're just going to call this blind offer. All right, and for this new custom status, it's not yet in the system, we are going to assign the option right here of generating documents, because we want to generate a blind offer. So we're going to go ahead and do that, and we're going to click add. And now you can see at the bottom of the statuses, we've got this new status called blind offer. It's kind of configured under the prospect stage, and we have the options to generate documents. Okay, I'm going to add one more just for example's sake. I'm going to click add status, and this one again is going to be under the prospect stage, and it's going to be a land status. And we're going to call this one blind offer sent. Okay. Now, when you send a blind offer, the person will then call in. Either they're going to accept your offer, so they're just going to mail it back to you, or they're going to call in. So if they call in, you're going to want to have the option to, you want to have a few options when they call in. You want to be able to do some more market research or confirm your market research. So we'll just check the market research tab. We might want to set the property location and view it on a map. We also want to be able to pull up the new offer request wizard, possibly. And we definitely want the offer option calculator just to make sure our numbers are correct, and we run it through that. The other option that we might put is the generate documents option. Okay, so when we move records into the blind offer sent status, then we're going to see all these options for those records. And I'm going to show you what that looks like in a second here. I'm going to click and add that. Before I show you how it looks on the record side, I just want to remind you that you can also sort statuses that you create. So if we click the sort status option, we can take our two new ones, which are at the bottom of the land side here, because we added them as land statuses, and we can move them to be in a different order. So you can see prospects are at the top here. So we might want to put blind offer up here, blind offer sent up here. That'll be right next to mailed letter sent, and that makes more sense to me to put it in that order. Okay, and we're going to save that order. And then let me show you what it looks like as you work the record. So once you're done with customizing everything, you go back to one of your records here, and let's say we'll select a couple records here, prospect records, and I'm going to move these 3 prospects under. I'm going to change their status, and I'm going to move them under the blind offer status. And this is the one that we just created. Okay, this didn't exist in the system before, so I'm going to move them over to the new status. And then if you look over here, if I do a little quick search here under status, blind offer, here's the 3 properties. Now you'll notice when I hover over these 3 properties, I get the generate documents options, because remember we just configured that for the status. Okay, so I can generate documents for these statuses. So let's just say that now we're going to mail. We generated the documents and we're going to mail them the blind offers. So I'm going to select all 3 of these. I'm going to move them now to the next status that we created, which is the blind offer sent status, and move those over. And again, if I find those records in the system by just looking them up by status, here they are again. They just moved over to the blind offer sent status. But now that they are moved to this status, you'll notice when I hover over the options menu here, we have the additional options. Now, if you remember right, we also had put some options like property research and the mapping options and things like that. And the reason you don't see those options showing up is because you actually have to have some property location information in the set in the system, or like for example, the property zip code has to be set in the system in order for those to work. So, for example, if I go into one of these records here, I'll take the owner zip code and I'm going to put it under the property zip code just for example's sake. So once I save that, you'll notice that this one now has the market research tab. So if I go back to the table here and I look up the blind offer sent status, that first record here, you'll notice it has a market research tab and the next one down doesn't. Okay, so the only reason why one has it and one doesn't is because this one right here, we set the property zip code. So when you're doing the blind offer strategy, you should be importing the property zip code at that point, as well as the property address or property GPS location, because when you get to this stage or status, you're going to want these options to automatically show up. And as long as you have that data in there, anything that you set on that customize screen previously, as far as the options are concerned, are going to show up here. All right, so this should allow you to really customize the investment dominator to kind of work with your refined deal flow and kind of adjust it to your own personal deal flow that you use. So again, we try to provide you with the basics, with a deal flow that we know works, that we use ourselves. But we also want to provide you with customization tools that will give you the ability to add this kind of stuff, this more advanced stuff to your system so that you can tweak it and really refine the process for your local market.